Hi there, my name is Kay Moon, and I am a twin flame channel and Western astrologer. And this is a video about the new moon in Capricorn taking place on January 11th at 6:57 a.m. If you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States, please check a time zone converter for your local time. Happy New Year, guys. I am so excited that we get to do another year together. Thank you for all of the ways that you all have shared the content, shared my channel with friends and family, people you think might need it. They come in all the time and tell me, so and so referred me, or so and so told me about your channel, or so and so told me. Thank you for every single time you have liked a video. Thank you. And for everyone who has subscribed, thank you. It means the world to me that something that I have been through and have been able to turn around and share, and my experiences with love and with God, you all are finding as valuable as you have too. I'm so honored that I get to be a part of your journey, even if it's just for a short while or for one video. It matters to me that you're here, and I'm really grateful for the ways that you've supported this channel and the work. Happy birthday, Capricorn. It is your new moon, and I'm really thrilled that we get to hang out together for this first new moon of 2024. Can you believe it? It is 2024, and this year is going to go by fast. It already is. The calendar is open, so if you would like to book a reading with me, you can find me over at kmoonastro.com, and we can look at this lunation and lunations heading into the remainder of the new year. It is going to be a busy and full year, with the first 6 months being some of the hottest 6 months in terms of activity and new things and change and transformation. First 6 months of this year is going to be some of the hottest we've seen in a long time. So let's get into this particular new moon real quick. At the tail end of this video, if you're new, hang out with me until the end. I will take you into the next lunation 2 weeks from now and give you my hot take on where things go from here and something I call first look. Okay. If anybody wants to timestamp where first look starts below, you absolutely can. I'm sure that would be helpful to folks who may come back to the video later. So this new moon takes place here at the 20th degree of Capricorn. We've got a trine to Uranus, that 120-degree angle that makes Uranus very influential at this new moon at that 19th degree of Taurus. We've also got a sextile to Neptune at the 25th degree of Pisces. We also have a square to Chiron here at the 15th degree of Aries, a conjunction with Pluto. Woo! That's going to be make things even more interesting. We've got a trine to Juno there in Virgo at that 21st degree, preparing for her retrograde. A sextile to Pallas here in Scorpio. And if that's not enough action, we also have a direct square to the transiting nodal axis, calling out this new moon as a moment of significant choice at this period of time. When I break this down, this is really an exciting energy because the grand earth trine that we get with Juno, the new moon, and Uranus. I read Juno as every bit as important as all of the other planets. She is classified regularly as an asteroid, however, as the only planetary body representing the evolved feminine energy, the divine feminine energy. Her voice is a really important contribution to how energies tend to play out astrologically. So we've got Juno in Virgo, not really her best sign or a place where she can do her best work, but her commitment focus and Virgo's dedication focus allows them to harmonize around commitment, focus, dedication. We've got surprises here from Uranus, Uranus being that hand of divine intervention, and the movement of surprises and um, kind of quantum leaps forward, evolutionary movement. Speaking to this new moon in Capricorn, and Capricorn's all about our work life, workforce traditions, our ability to climb and move toward our goals with consistent effort. We get here with this combo a tremendous amount of surprises in partnership in particular. This could be business partnership. And we also see not just business partnership, but certainly romantic partnership. As the primary and dominant influences on this new moon, Juno and Uranus are bringing in an element that may bring some surprise proposals, surprise divorces, surprise status changes in relationship, like, oh, surprise, we moved in together, or we eloped, or surprise, um, we are now business partners and our companies have merged. And, things kind of having happened in secret or in stealth mode now coming to the surface. We certainly saw a lot of that exposure leading up to this full moon, sorry, new moon in Capricorn, with two kind of current events in the zeitgeist. In world news, there was the exposure of some of the partnerships or alliances that the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein had in terms of partnership with well-known individuals worldwide. We saw a doxing of those files and who was on that list, and those alliances got exposed. Thanks, Uranus. Now we know. And then in kind of a niche kind of market, I have always been into comedy. I love comedy since high school. Comedy started to really get me through. There's an American comedian named KattWilliams who, within the first 5 minutes of a 2.5 hour interview, spilled dirt on no less than seven comedians um, in his world. He's not considered to be part of the establishment in the world of comedy, even though he's a legend. And the establishment is here. Capricorn, um, to have such exposure come as like a surprise. None of us saw that coming. That's a Uranus thing. Around people he may have partnerships or alliances with, that's a Virgo thing. So this kind of activity is par for the course with this level of alignment between Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo with these particular planetary energies. We have yet to see how this is going to play out on the world stage and in current events. As this information comes to the surface through the course of this new moon in Capricorn, but what I can say for sure is expect some more of it. We're not done. There may be at least two or three other kind of bombshells in the world of celebrity news or current events having to do with alliances and exposure of behaviors or activity done in the shadows. That's that Pluto component coming to light. That's this Uranus component under the light of this new moon. Um, Elsewhere with this, we also have, like I said, this kind of square to Chiron is opening up where there may be some woundedness, some sense of feeling either left out, rejected, or not good enough, being the foundation for some of this surprising movement. We also have, like I said, this uh, sextile to Pallas. Here's that. Pallas really has us on really looking at some level of self-protection. However, Pallas and Neptune are trine, and Neptune tends to dissolve whatever it touches. Neptune's dissolving of self-protection and secrets inside of Scorpio could be why we're seeing some of these things start to come to light, where again, things done in secret, protected and sealed, are now being exposed. That's Neptune dissolving Pallas's work here inside of Scorpio. Typically, in traditional astrology, it's common to think that because something has a trine, it has to be positive, but that's not necessarily so. Anytime you have a trining influence, it's like two energies sliding together, with the one furthest away from the sun creating the dominant influence and pushing on the other one. There was a tsunami, I think it was around 2018, we saw a Neptune Jupiter influence that came via a trine. It was Jupiter in Scorpio, Neptune in Pisces, both water signs, took out a lot of coastal regions in South China at that time, um, and South Asia. So trines aren't necessarily good. They're not necessarily bad. They just collide energies in this amplified way. And an amplification of Neptune speaking to Pallas, Pallas working hard to protect secrets in Scorpio, Neptune providing, this washing away of Pallas's influence, and you get what we've been seeing. So, this will be interesting because with this, we also get a lot of choice. As I said, how you react to what's unfolding at this moment in time is going to really kind of dictate what type of timeline you're on from here with this lunation square the transiting nodal axis. Anytime we have a major planetary activity at 90-degree angle to the transiting nodal axis, we get a collective choice point. We get an opportunity to choose which direction we want to go, but it's definitely either or. It is not a both and opportunity. I'm really sorry for those of you who lean Gemini. This is a moment in time where it will really serve you to pick a direction and take action rather than wait and see, or be in a position of trying to hold on to too many things at once. Trying to hold on to everything, you'll lose all of it. And with this is really like, okay, you need to kind of pick what direction you want to invest in with your time, your energy, your resources, your Capricornian effort. And that will open up the timeline that you can be on that will stabilize from here. Okay. Because we have this trine to Earth as well in Cancer. So we have, let me go back, we have Earth trine here. Here is Pallas. Here is Neptune. Here is Earth. Somebody tried to tell me that this is the part of fortune. That's not the part of fortune. This is the part of fortune. It's the circle with the X through it. Uh, Definitely double check that for yourself. The Earth looks like this when it's represented in a chart. They are similar, but they are not the same. So because we have at this lunation from other vantage points, not Earth resting in Cancer, and yes, Earth has a vibration, it has a frequency, just like all these other planets. Why wouldn't it? It's a part of the whole, not separate from it. Earth is all about manifestation energy. We've got Earth speaking to Pallas, speaking to Neptune in this trine. What we have here is a bit of a like opening up of our capacity to pull from our emotional realities or our emotional experiences, all in water signs, and bring those things into form very quickly, straight from the emotional or the spiritual realms with Neptune here in Pisces. There's also an opening here for a little bit of kind of over emotionality with this new moon in Cancer. For those of you who lean heavy water, just take extra care with your emotions at this time because you may feel a little bit emotionally inundated or flooded, potentially. There's a lot of other supportive influences here that would keep you from that, thank goodness. Because getting overwhelmed emotionally this early in the year is like, we have a long way to go and we have a lot of experiences to have. You don't want to get taken out by this new moon. You really want to use this for anchoring, using your emotions to anchor in a reality that you'd like to experience. We also have with this some of our protections falling away and starting to really expose stuff. If you're a very intuitive person, may start to really pick up on and see things about the people around you at this particular new moon. And that will help you understand, okay, which direction do I want to go in? Likewise, other people are picking up things about you, whether you intend for them to know certain things about you or not. This is a new moon where liminal space is very thin. It's a very mergy energy. So give yourself the space and permission to keep as clean an emotional house as you can. Leverage this Neptune to wash away any negativity that you brought into 2024 with you, that you were holding on to as a shield. Certainly, Pallas and Scorpio can have us hold on to our anger as a shield, but that's not really how healing works. We can really block out some of the healing and the growth when we're using anger as a shield, instead of doing the work we need to on either forgiveness or release or evolution. So this is an opportunity to really, because we got this liminal space, just very thin, wash away, release, let go of negativity that you may have been holding on to or may have been holding on to you. Pluto in the last degrees of Capricorn, speaking to this new moon, has a very take no prisoners attitude. Um, we've all been seeing this for some time, the airing out of secrets, especially when there's been oppression, abuses of power. With Pluto prepping to move into Aquarius, this kind of stuff is going to keep coming up and getting exposed because Aquarius is like a broadband radio station or a broadband frequency. It shares a lot of things in the airwaves. It is an air sign, Aquarius. Okay. And so with all of this and the moon trine Uranus as well, we're going to have our emotions looking all over the show. Is the best way that I can describe it. Your emotions will be up, they will be down, they will be left, and then they will be right. Emotions will go, all kinds of around in a circle. Expect it that there will be some emotional upheavals with some of this, and that's okay. But some of this is to help us really see where we're at, what's not serving us to be swimming in emotionally, and to let it go. Okay. There is a disruption in this to our emotional status quo. That's Uranus. It is all about disruption. We get the status quo energy from the new moon in Capricorn, and that's what Capricorn likes to give us. It wants to hold down steady motion forward in the business as usual vein. It governs tradition, it governs structure, it governs the old guard and things as they stand. Impulsive actions and unpredictable patterns can emerge from ourselves and from other people with Uranus in the mix because that's Uranus. But especially in partnership and love, like I said, divorces, proposals, move ins, move outs, business alliances coming undone due to you or other persons, either health or finances, coming together easily and overnight. Okay. If you're launching a new product or program now is the perfect time to do it. If you're already ready, it's a great time. You can harness this like Uranian upset energy or upheaval energy to change habits, change behaviors, even, release relationships that supported overindulgence in bad habits. Or there's a catalytic energy here that has us feeling a bit like, I just got to make a change. I just got to shift something at this new moon. And so it makes the entire month of January a great time to set intentions, implement New Year's resolutions rather than thinking you had to start on January 1st. And if you missed it on the 1st, you missed it. No, the whole month of January is an amazing time for starting where you are when you can, in particular with regard to self-improvement, career. That self-improvement is this Uranus and Taurus piece. We've all been working on that for the last several years. Career, that's that new moon in Capricorn piece, and personal projects, that's in part this Juno in Virgo piece. Especially with Neptune sextile this new moon, that 60-degree angle gives us some benefit if we can just do a little bit of work. That Neptune won't be too overwhelming for this new moon, causing either chaos, sorry, not chaos, but confusion or emotional lost in the sauceness. This Neptune is actually going to be a bit more supportive from that 60-degree angle. It's going to be perfect for creatives and artists who are wanting to channel their creativity into concrete projects and deliverables. And it's also perfect if you had any holdover work that you need to wrap up from 2023 or need to get done in order to start 2024 properly. This is a great 2-week cycle, 2-week span to get it done before we close out January. It's a very productive energy with Pluto in the position that he's in as well. It also harmonizes, this Neptune and Pluto harmonize, bring a little bit of harmony to this new moon, a little bit of spiritual harmony, spiritual depth. Like I said, Neptune and Pluto, they can do a little bit similar to Uranus in the way it's influencing this new moon. It can be a little bit of secrets exposed, intuition being highlighted or ramping up at this particular time. Like I said, it's a great time to channel. If you're a medium, if you have spiritual gifts in that way, great time to utilize this to call forward information out of the ether and place it in the third dimension. Okay. So keep in mind at this lunation with the moon squaring the transiting nodes, which the moon squares the nodes every month, but not every month does it square as a new moon. Because this is a new moon where we have a square to the nodes, the choices that we make at this time, and this will be a time of significant choice, will also have lasting consequences and impact and establish vibrational pattern and frequency that will color how our life renders for some time. So, as impulsive and moody as some of us might be, it will be critical that we are discerning about our actions. And that's this Juno and Virgo piece, bringing the discernment when it comes to our interactions with other people, especially in our alliances. It's going to be important that we ask ourselves, is the outcome of what I'm doing or saying something that I can live with? Is the impact something I could have uh, is the impact I could have in this circumstance an impact that I want? Is saying yes to this thing that I want to be saying, is it something I want to be saying yes to in the future? Is saying no, is this something I want to be saying no to in the future? Really important to be, despite Uranus's impulsiveness, really important to take an opportunity, just take a beat to think, be measured. Okay. With this. Exciting, exciting times. The Neptune Palace influence on this new moon. Here's Neptune, here's Palace together. Palace from Scorpio, Neptune from Pisces. both of them sextile to this new moon. This influence gives us the opportunity to help us take our guard down and make it easier to connect, easier to share, easier to open up, easier to reveal things. And that's this energy coming into the light. Like I said, there was some, I mean, depending upon how you look at it, you could say the two examples I gave were shadow, or you can call them light, right? But there's definitely with this like a guard coming down, a loosening of, you could say lips. But you could also say like a loosening of like tightly sealed places. There's where there's been a guardedness in your interactions. There can be more of an openness, a curiosity now with our loved ones, and we can utilize this, harmonize this to take risks to open up where we need to open up and share. There's a chance it could really go well at this time. So if you're at a crossroads in business and career, as we walk into this new moon in Capricorn, even if you're listening to this after this particular new moon is really going to color some things for some period of time, at least through the end of the month, and for some of us, much longer, depending upon the choices we have in front of us. If you need some help figuring out, okay, what's the path? What's my 2024 timeline? I've got decisions to make on a move, decisions to make on a business, decisions to make on a career change, going back to school, launching a business. I've got decisions to make in love or my business alliance and partnership. Here's where I get stuck. Now's the time to look at your calendar, or sorry, now's the time to look at your chart. You can jump on my calendar over at kmoonastro.com. Link is below this video. I'd love to give you a bird's eye view of 2024 so that you understand how to work with the energy before we get into some of the more heated energies that are actually right on the heels of this coming up in February. It would be best if we talk before then. Okay. Other supporting influences at this lunation, we've got Mercury here having a conversation with Neptune. That is a square. If you've hung out with me for any period of time, you already know this is my least favorite position for Mercury, next to the conjunction or the opposition. We've got an opposition to Vesta for that Mercury. Vesta is our dedication. Again, Neptune connects us to that liminal space. Then we've got a square to Juno. So this is almost like a loose grand cross, loose and mutable signs that incorporates this Mercury. Mercury's going to move pretty quickly out of it. The rest of these are going to move a lot slower. But when we have the tension of the Grand Cross, it causes us to feel a sense of being either pulled in multiple directions or feeling like we're up against the wall and we don't like any of the choices we have. It can also feel like any choices that we make at this time are extraordinarily consequential, and that we can be doing things or making choices that we don't like the outcomes of any of the choices we make. To harness or leverage this particular grand cross, because Neptune and Mercury are at the 90-degree angle, what I will say is that delay any decisions as long as you can. I know some of you got to trust your life. That's what my teacher, Nadia Shah, always says. You got to trust your life. You know, um, if there are decisions that can't be delayed, don't. But for those of you that can delay, that can get a second opinion, that can, consult another expert, leveraging this to stay curious and open is the best utilization of Mercury square Neptune. Mercury is our clarity maker. But Neptune is our confusion maker. And when they get into an aspect of tension, Neptune being the outermost planet, Neptune can cause a little bit of fog, a little bit of confusion, details being obscured or skipped over or deliberately hidden. Neptune can also cause Almost like a wishy-washiness. Like, well, you said it was this, but now it was that. So which is it? Great time to stay open and curious, to suspend decision making and keep conversations open and flowing, to see what else emerges and do some decision making as we get further into January. By the end of January, that Mercury slides out of square with Neptune and then allows clarity to return in some better ways, especially as this Mercury gets on approach to this Mars. Clarity will be sharp, clear, precise, and the information that you needed to have will be available. We're looking at beginning of February for that. Let me just double check. And between now and then, if you can keep conversations open, please do. Let's see. Let me go back. Let's just see the 4th of February. Yeah, we're looking at the beginning of February, the last week of January. So if you have the flexibility, please keep conversations open and then make decisions on the other side of this new moon. Okay. If you're trying to get the full situation in a full picture in a situation, like I said, it could be unclear. This is a great time for experiments as well with the way this Mercury and Neptune and Juno and Vesta are in this grand cross here. Great time for experiments to see how things unfold before jumping in with both feet. Some of you, however, some of you are clear. You've been clear about some stuff. For those of you who are super clear, you've been clear, this is your time to take action. What this Neptune and Mercury are going to do is loosen your grip on old ideas about the way things ought to be, should have gone. It's going to allow you to ease your mind so that you're able to just jump in with both feet to something new. But for those of you who legitimately have stuff up in the air, in terms of your decision making, um, great opportunity to use this for art. Like I said, supremely supported artistic collaborations. Like I said, a lot of liminal state energy that's going to allow you to channel in your art, channel in your information. Okay. Where it comes to relationship stuff, because this Juno is opposite Neptune, Neptune is squaring Mercury, Mercury and Juno are in a 90-degree angle to one another. And Vesta, who's all about our dedication, is at a harsh angle to those as well. There could be a lot of questions going on right now. Is the relationship starting? Is it ending? Either way, a season is definitely over. But is it is it over because the season of being single is over and now we're moving in together? Or is it over because we've done what we could do together, we've outgrown what the connection we can offer to the connection, it's time for us to each move in our different directions. Clarity will be evolving throughout this new moon, only to land as we get to the end of January. So, like I said, it's a great time to stay open in relationships if there's a little bit of confusion there. But for those of you who decided like last year you knew what you needed to do, just do what you need to do. Now is not the time to, oh, I don't know. K Moon said it's unclear. Maybe I'm not clear. No, you were clear in December. Execute now. Okay. It's only for those people who really have stuff up in the air. Most of you don't. Because there was a lot of clarity that came in for us during the Mercury retrograde, during Mercury's movement through Scorpio, Libra, and Virgo last year. Lots of clarity unfolded at that time. Trust yourself. You know who you are if you need to wait and see, and you know who you are if it's time to move. Okay. Also, Venus, since we're talking about relationships, let's talk about Venus. Venus is square this Juno as well. She's also square Nessus here in Pisces, and she's trine Chiron. It can be very challenging with this combination to be chill in this energy. Really hard to play it cool, especially given the new moon energy that includes Uranus. Nessus, which is a little bit, OCD, it's a little grabby, chasey, has no chill. Juno, our romantic and business connections and commitments up here in Virgo, wants to like parse and decision make and prioritize. And Chiron, we get wounds or wisdom, the one or the other with Chiron. If the wound part leads in this configuration, we get a little bit of passive aggressive activity and some of the uncertainty. We also can get some hesitancy or frozen action. You may also find that we may take action to push clarity and push conclusions by either withholding information, connection, communication, or demanding information, connection, communication, giving ultimatums, providing if then overthinking scenarios, if wounding leads, right? Like I said, great time to stay open, stay in communication, stay curious, allow the situation to evolve because it will continue to evolve. More information is about to come to the surface as this Mercury retrograde fully completes and Mercury gets into Capricorn. Okay. Towards the end of the month, if you can just allow things, if you're in one of those precarious positions in alliance, you have time. No decision has to be forced now. Don't take one now. You'll get better quality intel to make a better quality decision as we get toward the end of the month. You have to make a decision now because you're up against some sort of like bank deadline and the bank can't be flexible with you, something like that for a business. Do what you got to do. Trust your life. Okay. There's a reason why it would unfold with the deadline in this particular way. Okay. If wisdom takes the lead with this Chiron instead of wounding, we'll find that we can utilize this for, like I said, exploring, curiosity, staying open, assuming positive intent. We can use this kind of energy to also self-examine our responses to uncertainty and self-doubt, and you can change your response to it, especially where the uncertainty triggers or brushes up against the self-doubt. I'm so different, or gives you rejection triggers. This will be a constructive time to start to ask, what if I'm different for a purpose? What if I don't fit in certain places or with certain people for a reason? What if my path has been what it's been because there's a certain calling on my life and these things needed to happen the way they happen for me to fulfill that? This kind of curiosity and line of inquiry can heal a lot of Chiron's wounding and transmute it into wisdom, especially when it comes to love and connection, because Venus, love, Juno, commitment, marriage. Okay. So we want to harness their conversation with Chiron to walk in the wisdom side of this. Again, at this new moon, we're invited into choice. Given the squares to the nodal axis, we can either leap ahead, pick up our power, or stay where we are in the cycle that we've been in. Choice at this time, because this new moon is in an earth sign, is behavioral. It is not a mental exercise. It is behavioral. What are you doing? What are we doing to stay open, or what are we doing to lean into the choices we know we need to make? Okay. So what we do is going to dictate our timeline. All right. Where there is fear or hesitation about taking control of our life, it's gonna show itself at this new moon. Pluto in somewhat proximity, but always influential when it's in any proximity. Pluto deals with fear and power. Okay. And so at this new moon, where we have been in fear around taking control, like I said, it's that fear is going to mirror itself back to us at this new moon, and consequences of either that hesitation from the past will show itself in the present at this new moon, or will show itself as hesitation at this new moon. Like I said, for those of you who are already clear, leverage this Uranus, harness this to jump in, take action now. If you have this urge, like, I just got to do this and this is the right thing, trust it. For those of you who had some things recently fall apart and things seem really up in the air, give yourself some time, give yourself some space, assess, be curious, stay open, okay? So that you can get the best outcomes as more information surfaces when Mercury moves into Capricorn. All of this is going to give us an opportunity to stop, regroup, and try again in movement toward our goals. And this time with greater stability and groundedness. Thank you, Capricorn. And maybe less assumptions, presumption, or attachment to what was or should be, so that we can deal with life on its terms and be flexible in our moving toward our outcomes. Choosing the path that works, not forcing a path that ought to work. That's really kind of the name of the game here. And I love that the positive energy of this Neptune Mercury thing is allowing us to detach from the way things used to be and giving us an opportunity to have more of an open mind at this period. That's really constructive if we use it that way. When it comes to our motivation, that's Mars. Mars is conjunct Pholus. This is going to help. We also have a trine to Jupiter. Here's Jupiter in Taurus. And that combination right there with that Mars also sextile to Saturn is going to allow us some clarity regarding our actions that work and actions that don't. The feedback loop is going to be pretty immediate here. We're going to see rather quickly, because Mars can move with some real speed, especially when in conversation with Jupiter. We're going to be able to see both momentum and reward, or signs, if you will, that our action is aligned at this time. Okay. And I love this because this is also going to show us if our action is not aligned, this fullness is going to start to show some toxicity very, very quickly. And you'll be like, oh, nope, not supposed to move in that direction. Let me redirect, recalibrate, regroup. Okay. God's stars are really trying to help us. The universe is just waiting for us to get aligned with what it is that has been placed in our heart to do here on Earth. The Saturn Jupiter sextile, I always love these. It provides loads of balance and measured action and steadiness. There's opportunity meeting preparedness, coming together and opening doors. And it's just a matter of taking steps, which is Mars, to walk through the doors. Okay. If you've got big plans, goals, dreams for 2024, things that need to happen by a certain date, a move, a business launch, a new job, let's talk. I can take a look at that date for you and help you understand what energies you'll contend with and how to harness them to your advantage in 2024. Okay. We also have some of the biggest supportive movement in 2024 between now and the end of June. So if you want to make sure you're taking advantage of this window of blessings and opportunity as Jupiter and Uranus start to get closer and closer together, preparing for a major conjunction on April 21st, now's the time to get on my calendar so we can decode how to best use the energy for you. I'm over at kmoonastro.com and I would love to talk with you about this. Quick spoiler alert before we do first look. February and the end of January have some very difficult aspects gonna show up, some tension showing up for us collectively. There will be a lot of tension around the Aquarius new moon in mid-February, around the 9th, 10th, and 11th. But after that, it's all up, and it's going to go very quickly with some of the best energy in love and money opening up before July. So if you want support navigating it, let's have a chit chat. You know where to find me. If you heard something that resonates, definitely give this video a thumbs up. We're going to move on to first look together. And I think, let's see what we have here. It'll probably be a full moon in Leo. Let's have a look at that. See how this energy progresses for us. Awesome. So this is my first impression of the full moon in Leo. And this takes place on January 25th at 12:53 p.m. If you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States, there's our full moon at that 5th degree of Leo. And let's see, what do we have? We have that clarity coming in, as I promised you, with Mercury and Mars right there at that 15th degree. And this is right around January 25th, where those two are right on top of each other. So we'll even get clarity as early as the 20th. So I'm not, suggesting y'all wait forever. I'm just suggesting you let things play out through the 20th for those of you who legitimately have stuff in the air. For the rest of you, you knew it was time to move. Let's move. With this full moon, I'm seeing a trine to Jupiter, which I love. That's very harmonious. I'm also seeing a square from the creation goddess. Okay. And I'm seeing a trine to Venus. Ooh, grand trine. Lovey dovey in the air. Oh, it's actually not a trine. That's in conjunct. I lie. Hang on. Let me back up. Venus is not part of the party. Wah, wah. But Jupiter remains part of the party, so that makes this auspicious and fortunate, bringing in a lot of opportunity at the Leo full moon. There looks to be a culmination energy here. Um, okay, but this Venus is involved insofar as there is what we call um a yod, finger of God type of energy. And so that means to get the benefit of this full moon, we need to connect Saturn and Venus and work with that sextiling energy. The sextile of Venus and Saturn together bring us an energy of stabilizing attraction, love, stabilizing our finances, between Pisces and Capricorn. This is really stabilizing our intention, especially when it comes to where we fit in the world, our work, our projects, stabilizing what we intend to do and concretizing it, probably with a little bit of planning. With that, we unlock the benefit of Jupiter trine this full moon in Leo. Leo's sign of the king. It's also the sign that governs our creatives in many ways. It's creativity and manifestation. So it opens up an opportunity just vibrationally when we stabilized our intention. You're going to start to see doors open, open, open for you at this Leo full moon, especially if you're doing any communication around the things you're trying to create. I will be back to talk more about this Leo full moon. I definitely see an element of communication here from Pluto, just going to make this powerful and intense, and the beginning of some of the more intense energies that I mentioned are going to unfold for us in February. We're going to start to see the pot come to a simmer at the end of January before it hits full boil that second week of February. So if you need some help kind of preparing for this, picking a direction, understanding your purpose, your mission is written in your chart. I can help you decode that. But then also we can talk through some ways you can apply that to a job, because you're here, you have a purpose. You will always have a purpose as long as you're breathing on earth. But getting paid for that versus just doing it, two different things. So if you want some help decoding that, we can talk about that in session. And if you just need some help aligning what you already know your next step to be with something that's going to be either money making or garner the right attention and support from the right audiences, well, let's have a look at your chart and get you squared away for 2024 on the right track. Thank you so much for liking, watching, subscribing, and sharing. It is my honor to do these lunar updates with you. And I look forward to seeing you at the next lunation. Take great care and bye for now.